Welcome to Spiritual and Ambitious. I'm your host, Whitney McNeil. I'm a certified medium and spiritual teacher, and I help spiritual and ambitious souls just like you live your life purpose through your career and attract abundance by connecting into your intuition and spirit guides. Let's get spiritual and ambitious. Welcome to another episode of the Spiritual and Ambitious podcast. This is an exciting episode. I met this wonderful soul at a spa that I love to frequent. And she is going to be talking all about Feng Shui, and especially with the new year, it's so important that we reevaluate and I think keep our space clean and welcoming for abundance. So I've invited Anngee Marlar onto the podcast today. And Anngee is a certified Feng Shui consultant. She's a Numerologist and Reiki Master, and she's been practicing Feng Shui for over 20 years. She loves creating beautiful, clutter-free spaces that support body and soul and uses her intuitive gifts to help the energy flow smoothly through the home. I need this in my life. So welcome, Anngee, to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You know, I am in this process of decluttering. So I have literally outside my door like 15 bags to donate. And the funny thing is, I'm saying, well, you know, this room right here that I work in, I haven't decluttered yet. So this is like that extra push because here we are in this interview. And I think it's so nice because after we declutter, you know, how do we orient our space? And so I really am happy that you're coming in to talk about Feng Shui here today. But before we get started, I did want to pull a card. I do this every time, and I think it's really nice. Now, Anngee and I, before we started this podcast, we had all this tech stuff happening for us. So I want to pull a couple cards to set our intention. And the first card is the Protector Guide. It's time to set boundaries, which I think is really helpful for our spirit guides. You know, with our spirit guides, we have protector guides that come through. And so we're just going to ask our protector guides to come through and hold the space as sacred. And also, I think boundaries come up really good with Feng Shui, I would say, too. With
100%.
So tell me how that message would go with Feng Shui.
So boundaries in Feng Shui show up really funny on your property line. So the fences around your house or gates, if you have broken down fence lines, if the gate's broken, it's really going to show up as weakened boundaries in your life, which is so interesting. Feng Shui is very literal.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I think that's going to kind of put some light bulbs on for a lot of people. I've got to really consider that as well. That's really cool. So tell us a little bit about what is Feng Shui for our listeners who are wondering, well, you're talking about it, but what is it actually?
Sure, exactly. So Feng Shui, the literal translation means wind and water, but really it is all about energy and having a beautiful flow of energy throughout your space. And when you've got that nice flow of energy throughout your home, everything in your life is just easier. You're going to be more prosperous, more healthy. You're going to have better connected relationships. Your career will get better. It really impacts all aspects of your life.
I love that. So it's a literal methodology, a system, right?
Exactly.
But it connects to energy because I do think that everything is energy.
Everything is energy.
So if someone's out there going, everything's connected. So what in my life, where am I living that actually affects what? Like how I feel and
absolutely.
What does it affect?
So if you think about what I do with my clients is I always listen to the words that they use. Because Feng Shui is so literal, I might have a client say, hey, you know what? My marriage right now is feeling really rocky. So I would go to the relationship area of their home, which is the back right corner from the front door, and I would be looking for anything rocky. Wow. Rocking chair, a wobbly table, maybe a wobbly old chair, something really rocky and off balance. So I always listen to the words they use. I've heard people say that they feel very drained. So I'll look in the health area of their home for a sink drain or a shower drain, things like that. It's really interesting that we use the words that are actually happening in our house.
Wow. I am excited to check out my house. Now I need to look at different areas of my life and see what's going on. This year, I have had some health challenges like all year, and now I feel much better.
Good.
But I've got to just ask you from this point, like, what area is the health part of your house?
Sure. So the health area of the home is the center of the home. So let's say you walk in your front door and you just walk to the center area of the home and you drew kind of a circle out. That whole center of the home is the health area. So oftentimes this is kind of a weird location in a home. It could be a hallway, it might be a staircase. A lot of times it's a staircase with a giant closet underneath. And guess what? That closet is full of clutter.
Oh.
So those are things that we have to really look for. So in a health area, we would want to look at that area, the center of the home. But we'd also want to look at your sleeping area because you spend so much time in bed every night. You'd want to make sure that that bed space was really supported to good health as well. So there are some definite things we can do and some tips I can give you for good health for the new year. If you'd like, we can go over those.
Oh, I'm sure our listeners would love that. I think that so many people are now really interested. But I've got a question for you too, because we're talking about the different areas of the home. Is there like a map or something that helps people find that? Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. So in Feng Shui, there's something called a bagua, and it's just spelled Bagua. And a bagua is just essentially an energy map of your home. And the way you lay a bagua on the home is you stand in the front door facing in your home, and you kind of imagine a tic-tac-toe board over your entire home. This grid will create 9 equal areas. Each little area is what we call a gua, and that's just spelled Gua. So bagua is the whole, the guas are the little areas. Now, each little gua represents a different area of your life. So the center gua in that tic-tac-toe board is your health area. So that would be, exactly how you'd find that. Now, if for any of you that have 2 and 3 story homes, that gua or that bagua or map, you would just stack that right on top of each other for each floor. You can also feng shui individual rooms in the home, and you just would stand in the doorway of that room and lay the grid over the room. So that's kind of a good way to get you started.
Oh, yeah.
But the energy map kind of tells you where everything is located.
Okay, because I'm sure people are wondering. And by the way, Anngee is going to give you a bagua map, but you got to listen to the end of the episode to find out how to get it. So you, though, which I think is great for our listeners right now, have some tips to help create space without the map that will support us in our new year. So I know everybody's ready. So if you're listening, go ahead and write it down. If you're in the car, you can come back to this, but I'm ready. I think we're all ready for new energy.
Absolutely. So for the new year, here are a few things that you can do to just kind of set yourself up for some good, fresh energy, some prosperity and abundance, love, everything that you're looking for in life. The first place I would start would be your front porch area. Make sure that your front porch is nice, neat, and tidy, that you've got it nice and swept. Maybe place a jade plant right outside your front door. Jade is a very abundant energy plant, and it will carry the energy of abundance right into your home. Something else that I really like to do, I actually do this once a month or on the first of the month or on a Sunday. I take a damp cloth and I put a few drops of essential oil on that cloth, maybe like a peppermint oil or abundance oil, just whatever you like that smells fresh, clean, and pretty, and go wipe down your front door. And as you're doing that, I want you to think of all of the beautiful things or blessings that are coming in to your home. And think of things like if you know someone in your home has a job interview or a test they're going to take, think of that thing happening with just a beautiful, positive outcome. It's such a great way to set your intention for the new year, or really for any month within the year, right at your front door. And the reason you really want to take care of that front door space is because the front door is what we call the mouth of chi. Chi is just another word for energy. And this is where the energy comes into the home and feeds the home. So we want to really take care of that spot so that the energy can come in and really help us around the house. Now, inside, do you have a question?
No, I'm just going, wow. Like there's a lot of, oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So inside the home, things that you can do to really support yourself for the new year and really set yourself up for fresh energy is maybe just take a walk through your home with some fresh eyes and just say, okay, what in this home is cluttered? What have I been avoiding in this house? Is there something broken that I haven't taken the time, money, or energy to fix? Just kind of take a walk through the home and notice those things, and maybe set a priority to really get those things fixed, cleaned up, tidied up, and organized. But the number one thing you can do to help yourself is to clear clutter. So if you've got a room in the home and that room is filled with boxes, junk, trash, whatever you've got going on, you'd want to go to that space and really clear that stuff out. And the reason for that is because the energy's got to have room to move through that space. If that room is full of clutter, the energy can't move and help bring you what you want. There is an old saying that says the universe abhors a vacuum. And what that means is the more open and available space you have in any room in your home, the more the universe can work to fill that space with whatever that space represents, which might be love or health or prosperity. So clutter can really hold us back from having any of those things in our lives. So clearing clutter is huge.
I love that. It is. I definitely have that same belief of the universe really loves a vacuum. And I talk about it from that energy perspective, but I love that you're talking about it also from an energy perspective, but with the physical parts. And of course, I feel a little kick in the ass to clean my office space because that's the place right now that I have put on the last of my list. But I think there is never a coincidence. And I felt this push to clean my entire house. And here we are. So yes. I'm making it. I'm getting there, right? But I'm sure that this is an extra nudge for everybody to really look at their house too. So Anngee, I've got more questions for you, but we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come right back. So stay tuned. And Angie's going to be giving you some tips about bringing in abundance for the new year. And I'm going to ask her a little bit more about those health questions too. As a professional psychic medium, I've done tens of thousands of readings, but I felt a call to move more fully into teaching intuition. But I still get so many requests about doing readings. So while I don't do readings anymore, I have brought in some very trusted colleagues who are now available for live 1-hour readings on Zoom. If you would like to book your psychic medium reading, go to messengerofspirit.com/appointments to see our available readers and schedule your Zoom reading today. Welcome back. We've got Anngee Marlar here talking about Feng Shui, and she's given some amazing tips to help us create that space in the new year to help support our desires and our dreams and what we're really wanting. And we're getting ready to talk about some abundance tips. But before we get to that, Anngee, I wanted to ask you how you got started in Feng Shui.
Oh, sure. So about 20 years ago, a friend of mine handed me a book and said, hey, you know what? You're a better reader than I am. Can you read this and just try to explain it to me? I think you're going to be really good at this. And it happened to be a book on Feng Shui. And I read it. And I'm going to be really honest, I was a bit skeptical at first, but I was open-minded enough to try it. So I started playing with it and started adding things to my home and moving the furniture around. And the thing that really sold me was I had learned that the color purple represented prosperity. And so one day my husband went to work and I thought, you know what? I'm going to paint the wall behind our bed a really bright lavender because I love that color. I know he's probably going to hate it, but this is the prosperity area of our home. And let's see if this actually works. So I painted the wall behind our bed a lavender. And my husband came home and he was like, oh my goodness, what did you do? And I said, we're going to try this. It's feng shui. We're going to see if this actually works. So about 30 days later, he was offered a job that doubled his salary. And we were able to pick up and move to the beach where we wanted to live. So I think I was just sold. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I can do that by just painting one wall and cleaning up some clutter, what else can I do? And it has just really helped me throughout my life. It's given me so much support. I used to struggle with anxiety, and now I feel like feng shui gave me my power back.
Oh,
so that's how I got started. Mm-hmm.
So with the anxiety, how do you feel feng shui kind of remedied that? Because it's like a external, tangible, like action that you can take?
Absolutely. So for one, not having a lot of clutter around you will help calm your mind. Creating a space that just feels very comfortable and inviting and represents you, that will make you feel safe and it will just calm the energy in your home. There are also some manifesting things that you can do when you are worried about something, because it's not that the anxiety just, is gone. I do still have it here and there. But when I have it, now I have some little manifesting techniques that I can use to help me calm that down.
That's wonderful. I'm learning all these benefits. And it's funny because you don't realize how it can affect all the different areas of your life. But a lot of our listeners are really about aligning to purpose and they want to find their purpose. And so I just want to share this little tidbit about something that you had told me. You said that when you were growing up, one of the things that you really enjoyed was reorganizing and rearranging your room. And you used to hang crystals in your window and added water, firewood, and earth metal elements and didn't even realize that you were doing this. And I think that our purpose calls us from a very young age. And so I just wanted to share that. I thought that was such a great story because sometimes people are saying, I need to find my purpose. And I'll say, go back. What did you used to love to do when you were younger? And there it is, right?
Absolutely. It's so interesting because the same multifaceted glass crystals that I used to hang in my window when I was a girl are the same ones I use to help with energy in people's homes where the energy is maybe not flowing properly or it's too sharp. It's really fascinating how if you go back to your childhood, I think you're going to find maybe what you were meant to do.
Absolutely. I mean, my childhood, I was there talking to spirit and watching every kind of paranormal thing I could do. So here I am.
Here you are.
Here I am. All right. So can you share with us some tips for abundance in the new year? That's definitely a hot topic here on the podcast.
Absolutely. So for abundance in the new year, we talked about placing a jade plant right outside your front door. 100% do that. That has worked so well for me. Something that I like to do in the back left corner of my home. So if I'm walking in the front door and we go all the way to the back far left corner, that's the prosperity area. So in this area of your home, clean that area out, declutter it the best that you can. And I want you to go out and buy something that makes yourself just feel so luxurious, a very luxe item. So that room happens to be my bedroom in this house also. So what I am going to go do, I haven't had a chance, but I'm going to go this week. I'm going to go buy myself like a really fancy luxury soft lavender blanket to add to that space. Something I'm going to spend a lot of money on it. I'm going to make sure that it just feels luxury and beautiful to me. So add anything that feels luxurious to you to that space. If you like the colors purple, green, or gold, add some of that to that space. But when you walk into that back left corner, it should look and feel rich. It should represent you and the prosperity that you want to bring into your life. Another thing that I have done to that corner of the home is I added a piece of gold citrine and I placed it in the children and creativity area of my room in the prosperity section of my home. So once you have the bagua, I can show you how to do that. But really adding gold citrine to that area is so helpful because it's such a prosperous stone. It brings in wealth. And I put it in the creativity space within my prosperity space because I wanted to find new creative ways to bring in prosperity. And shortly after I did that, my husband won a golf tournament and won money. I also won at Bunko. I never go play that, but I did and I won. So just kind of some interesting little ways to bring in prosperity. The other thing you want to take a look at in your home is your stovetop, because your stovetop, every burner on your stovetop represents a different source of income. So if you are always cooking on the same burner on your stove, you are kind of like telling the universe, hey, you know what? I'm good with one source of income. I don't need all of these other sources. So go light all your burners on fire. Even if you don't cook, just go light them on fire for maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Just get that prosperity energy moving. And make sure you keep that stove clean, neat, and in good working order all of the time. You can add to the family section of the home. So your prosperity section is the back left corner of your home, right? So the left middle of your home, if you're looking at a tic-tac-toe board, that's the family section of the home. So I would also recommend adding maybe a bamboo plant to that space because that is really good for bringing in prosperity and a steady flow of income. And then also, if you want some abundance in your love area of your life, go to the back right corner of your home this time. And in that space, place something that just looks and feels romantic to you. So it could be that you're placing 2 rose quartz hearts sitting next to each other. If you're in a relationship, you could put a picture of you and your significant other. Maybe you add fresh cut flowers or candles. Do something like that to give your love a little boost. So those are some ways to just get started.
They're so good. I do have a question because I know that everybody listening is already thinking about their home just like I am. I'm like, oh, the prosperity corner, that's in my bedroom too. And I just ordered all these purple things to change my bedding and stuff
Purple.
like that.
Perfect.
But, I know, right? But the question I think that a lot of us have too is, well, wait a minute, if I go to the back right corner or the back left corner, what if there's nothing there? Like, what if it's in between like my bedroom dresser or my office desk and it's just a blank space with a corner? Is there anything that you could tell us that might give us some inspiration to put there?
Sure. So let's say you have kind of like an empty corner and you're just not sure what to do.
Yeah.
You can add there's specific colors that work for all of these different areas. So even if you didn't have a lot of space, maybe you could paint the wall one of those colors. Maybe you could buy a piece of artwork that's in the right shape that will support that space. So like if it was the love area and maybe you just have kind of a blank corner and you're like, gosh, I'm not sure what to do. Adding anything earthy to that space would be wonderful. So you could use earth tones, cream color, all the way up to chocolate brown. You can use pink, white, red in that space. You could use something made of earth to maybe hang on the wall, something like that. So there's some different things that you can do. So even if it's kind of an empty space, you can always use color to kind of brighten that space up. And worst case, if you cannot do anything, add additional lighting to that space, open a window nearby, get some light energy moving in there. That can help support that area too.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that there's different remedies, if you can't necessarily put something or it just doesn't make sense to put something in there.
Right.
So I told everybody before the break that I would ask you about those health tips. I think that when we move into the new year, we do start to think about new intentions and our health and, what kind of habits can I get into? But I love your approach with Feng Shui. So do you have any thoughts about what we can do to strengthen our health?
Absolutely. So the health section of the home is that center section. So really go to that area and look for any excess clutter, because we really don't want clutter in the space of all spaces, because we don't want that cluttering our bodies down. And so many of us always set the intention, the new year, and I'm going to lose weight and get in shape and all these things. So clutter can really affect our bodies and can create excess weight on our bodies. So clearing clutter out of that space would be the best thing you can do. I would add any sort of earth tones to that space. I would add earth tones anywhere from cream color up to chocolate brown in that space. I would add anything yellow in that space, like yellow flowers. I would add, if it's the center of your kitchen, you could put a bowl of 9 lemons, and really the center of your kitchen, wherever your kitchen lands within the house, you could do the center, put a bowl of 9 lemons. The number 9 is the number that supports good health. So we can do those things to that area. And one thing I like to do to really just kind of set my intention for my health goals is to take a yellow sheet of paper and a red pen and write down what your health intention is for the new year. So let's say you wanted to lose weight. You could write something like, for me, that was mine, so I'm going to use that. I wrote, I love my fit, slim, healthy body. So that, here I am working on really loving myself, loving my body. And I took that little health intention. Oh, and the reason we're writing that in red is a fire energy, and that is going to get that energy moving. Take that little yellow sheet of paper and just set it somewhere in the health area. Doesn't have to be visible. It could be under your bowl of 9 lemons or somewhere in that space. Add that to that area to give yourself that little boost. But I will tell you, anytime I place a fresh bowl of 9 lemons in my health area, it's the weirdest thing. I am sticking to my workouts. I am eating the right way, taking my supplements, drinking my water. I'm meditating. I'm doing all of the things I know I need to do to stay healthy. So those are all things I would do in the health area. Do you have any questions on that?
No, I think this is amazing. And so many people, I think it's so easy to do. That's what I love about it. When I talk to my students and I help them clear their mind, I said, if I tell you to go meditate for an hour, you're not going to go do it. I need to give you easy ways to clear your mind. And so what I love is you're giving easy, actionable steps, because sometimes we get so overwhelmed with, now I got to do all the things. I have to be super perfect. I have to spend hours decluttering all the things. And while that's a great intention, you can also just go get a bowl of 9 lemons. And that's really easy and cost effective to get.
Exactly.
I love it.
We have a lemon tree in our backyard, so it makes it real easy. I just run outside and grab some lemons.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
There's a few things we can do to the bedroom too to support good health. And here is one thing I'm going to share. And I know a lot of people aren't really going to like this, but I do EMF checks on people's homes, which just stands for electromagnetic frequency. And our poor bodies right now are just getting inundated by electricity. So something you can do to really help yourself in your bedroom is unplug everything within 6 feet of your body, because that's your energy field. And so when you've got your cell phone and your Apple Watch and your iPad and your laptop and your alarm clock and your lamp and all these things plugged in right next to you, your poor body is getting hit with so much electricity. And when you are getting hit with that much electricity, your body can't go into REM sleep. And if you can't go into REM sleep, your body can't heal itself. So this is something that I am really sharing with a lot of people. I mean, if you are somebody that struggles with anxiety, joint pain, autoimmune disease, depression, any sort of inflammatory situation, I would absolutely unplug everything around you and see if you don't start feeling a bit better.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're such sensitive souls, and that can make a huge difference that we don't even realize. I know that when I go somewhere, especially out in nature, where there's no kind of electronics at all, I feel so much better. And we just need that kind of break and that down regulation that we have.
Absolutely.
But oh my gosh, Anngee, I've got tons of questions, but maybe you can come back for more.
I would love that.
And I appreciate this so much. So many people are going to get so much value out of this. And so Anngee has a free gift for you, and she's going to be giving you a downloadable Bagua map. So all you have to do, I'm going to hand it over to you, Anngee, to tell everybody how to get that.
Yes. So if you just go to my Instagram, which is Shui All Day, ShuiAllday, and just DM me your email address and the word map, I will send you a Bagua map that has all of these little tips and tricks on it that you can use in your home.
Oh, that's such an amazing gift. Thank you, Anngee, for being here. I really appreciate it. And this is going to help so many.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
All right, everyone, I'm going to go to my kitchen and turn my fire on all my burners because I do definitely cook with just one, maybe two. But I'm going to be back next week with a brand new episode. But until then, here's to staying spiritual and ambitious. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And if you loved it, would you please share it with a friend? I would also love your review. And a reminder to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find me at messengerofspirit.com. And you can take the 4 Intuitive Languages quiz and find show notes there too. If you want to connect on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can find me at Messenger of Spirit. I'll meet you right here next week. Here's to staying spiritual and ambitious.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.